I've been getting a flurry of comments on this channel telling me how ESG is woke. People telling me that ESG is a method of the elites, the master puppeteers, the likes of BlackRock and others, to control the world. And I just instantly thought, this is ludicrous. And then I went down the rabbit hole. See, this channel is all about procurement, supply chain, and a lot of the comments were about the investment scores, the ESG scores that tell investors whether the company that they're going to put money into with the hopes of getting some returns at some point are a good bet when it comes to environmental, social, and governance. And that's fundamentally different to how myself and people in procurement are looking at ESG, or is it? One thing that I realized was that there is a causal link here. Now, if investors are looking for a set way of doing things, then that will flow through into the company's objectives. And how on earth do you know what to look for when you're in procurement, supply chain, or legal, and you're dealing with suppliers? Well, you've got to look within the business. You've got to figure out, what is the business looking to achieve? What are its goals? What are its OKRs? And how do we align our goals with the rest of the business to make sure that we're all on the same page? Yes, this sounds like corporate speak, and it is to some extent, but it is serious, because those initial ideas around ESG flow through the entire company, and then as we look into the supply chain, they start to filter through. Whether it's through due diligence, contract reviews, contract clauses, requirements that you're putting on your supply chain, it all stems from the very top of the business. Whilst I've got you here talking about whether ESG is woke, I never thought I'd be making a video about this. It'd be awesome if you could hit that subscribe button if you're interested in all things procurement, supply chain, contract management. This channel will really elevate your knowledge in those areas. There's a very literal definition. This is in the Oxford English Dictionary. Woke, adjective, originally well-informed, up-to-date, now chiefly alert to racial or social discrimination and injustice, frequently in stay woke. So the etymology of this word indicates that one is aware of their surroundings. But this word has been politicized, used in satire and sarcasm. But Wikipedia has a really good entry on this. And I would just say, go there, or read my article that's in the description below. It takes you over to my Substack. And over on Substack, I talk all about procurement and supply chain, and fundamentally the topic that we're discussing here, there's already an article for it. And I include that Wikipedia definition there. Go read it. In no way, shape or form am I taking political sides or anything in this video. Do you know why? That would be absolutely crazy of me to do that. Now, what kind of got me thinking about this only this week, some more, was a Financial Times article, which seemingly put a massive shadow over ESG. And for many of you who are proponents that ESG is the devil, as Elon would say, are probably very happy that something like that has come out. Now, fundamentally, that piece said that companies rated highly on widely acceptable environment, social, and governance metrics pollute just as much as lowly rated companies. And this is an interesting point that we have to consider, that ESG isn't just about the environment, it's also about your social and governance factors. And this alludes to why Elon was so frustrated. His company Tesla scored significantly lower than a tobacco company and oil producing company. And anyone that considers what ESG is about, which is fundamentally making the planet a better place, you really do wonder how someone who makes cigarettes, a product that is proven to kill people, that gets people addicted, that makes them spend huge amounts of money throughout their entire life only to kill them, is scoring higher than a company that's fundamentally looking to change the world, provide clean energy to everyone, and change the way in which we travel forever. You really do have to wonder, is ESG actually woke? From a procurement angle, from a supply chain angle, what are we fundamentally trying to do when we look into our supply chains? We're trying to figure out which of our suppliers are good partners. And yes, that could mean that the ESG from above is influencing us here. Just from good human nature and decency, I'd absolutely never want to work with a supplier that promotes child labor, modern slavery in any form, sexual violence against female employees. We have a fundamental duty to look out for these kinds of things happening within our supply chains, and we should look to eradicate them. We should not be working with them. But people will rightly call out that there are fundamental gestures that big companies are doing, such as the likes of Apple, who will promote any positive cultural agenda fundamentally, and then at the same time continue to source materials from conflict region areas that will inevitably have modern slavery practices at its core, whether it's child labour, forced labour, it's there, it's rife. And you do wonder, is there that level of virtue signalling that undermines the very nature of ESG, which just shows that it is just a PR stunt, that it is woke, right? This is complex, and I'm not taking a side either way here. What I'm fundamentally saying is that the checks that we do from a supply chain angle, from a procurement angle, I think they are good checks, and that we would be doing them, and we have been doing them years before ESG was even something that was spoken about in procurement and supply chain circles. So, is ESG woke? I'll leave that up to you to decide. I would love to hear your views in the comments though. And just one request, stay nice, stay kind, be curious, apply critical thinking, but don't attack people. There's just no need for that. And I'll see you real soon, my friends. Goodbye.